and founder of Nucamp, and with me I have the delightful Zandra Kubota coming to us from Hawaii. Right now it's super early. What time is it over there, Zandra?
It is 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So
Well,
not too
thank
bad.
you. Double thank you for joining. Zandra has been with us for quite a while now, started actually in Hawaii, delivering our boot camps in person at the time we were in person, and is now an advisor with Nucamp. And so you may have had a chance to actually talk to her over the phone or exchange emails with her. So this live open house is going to last 1 hour. And typically what we do, and we're pretty good at that now, is spending the first 30 minutes going over a few slides, giving you the rundown on Nucamp, what it's about, what we're trying to do for students. And then the last 30 minutes, we're going to spend, well, that amount of time to answer your questions. And so what I mean by questions is anything you type in on YouTube, anything you type in on Facebook or LinkedIn as well, now that we are streaming on LinkedIn, we'll just go to those questions in about 30 minutes now and start to answer them one by one. So don't hesitate to type them in. And so let's get going. So very first question, obviously, is what is Nucamp? I'm guessing many of you already know the answer to that. We are a coding bootcamp, but we are kind of a special / different one. We are trying to do things in a way that makes really education or coding education available for everyone, no matter where you live, no matter how much money you have in your pockets. And we do that by offering the most affordable experience, under $2,000. And some people, when they see that, are like, well, that's probably too good to be true. And it's actually not. And so we've been doing that for the past 5 years. And we'll show you why it's not too good to be true. And you can actually trust the outcomes that we're sharing with you. With that, recently, I think it was back in February, we've been #1 rated coding bootcamp in the US. So if you go to Course Report, if you go to Career Karma, you'll see us at the top there. On Career Karma, you will have to look for the ratings from graduates, not the ratings from the people who are just applying. But yeah, it's a great testimonial testament, I will say, of what students are thinking of us and what we're able to do in the industry. So the way that I like to think about Nucamp, and when I put myself in your shoes, trying to figure out, okay, which coding bootcamp am I going to attend? It's to really compare us with what else is available. And I will start with online bootcamps. You know them as Udemy, Udacity, Team Treehouse, Code Academy, Coursera. I mean, the list goes on, and they all have something in common, which is very high quality content. Usually you'll find fantastic content on those online platforms. And they'll have a very, very affordable price point. Like you can buy courses on Udemy for $10 and have like 200 worth of great content available to you. So that's awesome. Except only 3% of anyone going that route finds themselves accomplishing something in the end. And the reason is, yeah, you can buy those courses and it's great content, but you pretty much have no support. And it's not just about, having an instructor there. It's just, the mental support of you staying committed day in, day out, every week for about 6 months to maybe sometimes a year on that learning journey. If you're on your own, chances are life is going to get in the way and you're not going to stay committed. And so you would have had, maybe you have 1,000 hours of great content waiting for you, but you're not going to find the mental psyche to just stay at it and go through it. And so great way to get started, though. I mean, I would encourage anyone thinking about coding or learning to code to really start there, because there is no risk, very low cost, very high quality. But then very quickly, you're going to look for alternatives. And so what that means, well, you're going to start to look at what's available around you and what we call the traditional bootcamps. And a traditional bootcamp is just like any other school. They're going to have a campus. They're going to have instructors or professors there. It's going to be full-time. It's going to be, sometimes 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So very immersive, very intense. And very often it's a great experience. Now, the challenge for that is, well, you have to have one in your proximity, or you're contemplating, commuting long hours. And then it's the best for you to experience that is to be full-time. So if you have a job, well, you're going to have to quit that job. And that's a big, gamble here. And then it's the cost also is kind of prohibitive. It could be $10,000, $15,000, sometimes $30,000. And that's even if they're still open with COVID. I mean, most of the traditional coding bootcamps went online. And even though it's kind of still full-time, quote unquote full-time, you really don't have that type of in-person experience and support that you would expect. And so that's another alternative that many of you will consider. But again, it comes with huge trade-offs in terms of risk-taking, quitting your job, huge amount of money. Is it actually in person or not? And even though it really promises great content, great support, it's really kind of difficult to make that choice. And so that's why we came out with Nucamp. That's really looking at those two alternatives that you are presented every day and saying, well, there's actually a better way. The better way is the flexibility, the affordability, the quality of online with the support that you would expect from a traditional coding bootcamp in terms of learning with others, with other students and classmates, having an instructor, but then not having to be full-time. You can do it part-time. And so that's really what Nucamp brings to you, is the best of both worlds, and all of that under $2,000. And if you're wondering, how do we get to $2,000? Well, think about it. We don't have campuses full-time, so we don't have to rent, big buildings every day. Our students meet on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we just need to rent for that portion of time. With COVID, it's actually online, but when we were in person, that was really it. And then our instructors are part-time as well. They're not full-time employees with us. They do that on the side. And so it's another, expense that we can manage much better than traditional boot camps. The history, I mentioned that we've been around for like 5 years. We started in 2017. We've trained 9,000 unique students since. We launched more than 2,000 boot camps. We have 300 and more instructors. Every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have 100 workshops live with students. And that's a fantastic experience for us and them. And you'll actually see students commenting on those workshops in their reviews. And as I said, all of that, I think in February, we reached the #1 spot on Course Report, right behind Le Wagon, which is another coding bootcamp. But Le Wagon is international and not US, and we are exclusively US right now. All right. So, and as I mentioned, feel free to ask your questions on the chat. I see that BX3, maybe it's supposed to be read differently, I guess not. BX3CH3CHV says hello to Zendra and myself. Hello. Good to have you here. Post your questions in the chat and we'll answer those in about 20 minutes now. Okay, so we have 4 bootcamps available to you. The Web Dev Fundamentals is kind of the one, if you're a beginner, if you're really wondering, okay, is this for me? Stop there. 4 weeks, $350 if you get it early bird. And you'll know if Nucamp is for you. You'll know if you like coding. You'll know if that's something that works for you. Just 4 weeks, like no brainer. And then we offer the front end, the full stack, and very recently we've announced the back end, SQL and DevOps with Python. I'll touch on it a little bit more very quickly because that question comes up quite often. The web development fundamentals is not included in the front end of full stack web development bootcamp. So you'll have to actually register for that one separately. Okay, so we announced, I think it was a month ago now, our new bootcamp. It's called Backend, SQL, and DevOps with Python. It's 16 weeks long total, and it covers a ton of really exciting stuff. Well, first, it's going to cover the Python fundamentals, the data structures and algorithms. What that means is if you're very new to programming and you don't have those fundamentals, meaning the data structures and algorithms, you can probably start there. You can decide to actually start with the 4 weeks bootcamp to really get an idea if coding period is for you. And then you want to continue on to that to get those data structures and algorithms fundamentals. If you have that, if you're kind of comfortable with those, you can go straight to the full stack curriculum. But then we'll teach you SQL with Python. And here it's actually Postgres SQL. And then we're going to teach you modern software engineering with DevOps. Includes a ton of things that you will need to know as a developer working in a team. So SDLC, Agile, Waterfall, all the methods of CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. And then we'll actually teach you also how to really deploy your work on any of the 3 main clouds, which is quite significant. Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, or Google Cloud. Now, I see someone talking about the August start. Just so you know, the August starts, I think it's for the Python Bootcamp, it's August 9th. This is the very first cohort, and so we are kind of restricting the amount of students that can enroll. And I think we're kind of 10 seats away from the maximum at this time. So it's kind of a private delivery. You get a discount because, well, you're going to help us find the bugs and things like that. But as I said, we only have like 10 seats left for that August 9th delivery. The next one will be September, I think, I actually don't know, September 16th, maybe, something like that. And I see, what about Django? We touch on Django and Flask, I believe. Yeah, it's here. Oh, yeah, I think we touch on Django as well. It's just we touch on it. We don't do much with it. All right, so the Fair Student Agreement. This is our way to further give access to you to our bootcamps. If you cannot afford the monthly tuitions of $370, something like that, you can apply to a student loan with Climb Credit, and I see someone actually mentioning that. And that will allow you to, instead of having to pay in 4 or 5 installments, you're going to be paying over the period of 12 to 18 months. And you're going to just pay even less when you're learning. So down to like $12 a month, typically, for the first 6 months. So check this out. It is a traditional student loan, though, so you qualify or you don't. We've actually opened all the criteria for you to qualify. But if you had a bankruptcy recently, chances are you're not going to be eligible for the loan. But it's kind of a typical thing. All right. So the curriculum format and logistics, it's kind of a rinse and repeat type of thing. You're going to learn the curriculum from Sunday to Friday. We're going to tell you exactly what you're supposed to do on a daily basis. You're going to have support from your instructor and our community, the Slack community. And then on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., you're going to attend a live workshop with your instructor. And that's going to be kind of the capstone moment of your journey. That's when you're going to work on your project. And that's where really a lot of the knowledge is going to kind of consolidate and solidify for you. And then rinse and repeat every week. Nucamp instructors, a ton of students are mentioning them in their review as well. They are part-time with us and full-time employed as developers in the industry. And that makes a big difference. They are part-time with us, not necessarily because of the compensation, but because I'm reading another comment here. I should not do that.
To give back.
Yeah, they want to give back to the community. They do that. Think of all those people who contribute to open source projects. That's very much the mindset of those instructors. Really believing in what Nucamp is trying to accomplish in the industry. Believing in helping the community get to better jobs and really giving back in teaching you to learn to code. And so you'll be exposed to, or you'll meet like 4 to 5 different instructors throughout your journey, and you'll see the very diverse background that they bring with them. So some are working, top companies. We call them the FANG. Some are working in for defense contracts. Some are working in Fortune 500 or startups. Some are freelancing. I mean, a wide range of really types of jobs that you can get. BB Junk Stuff is saying bankruptcy. Well, I'm out. That's only if you want to apply to. Let me actually pull that one. Sorry, real quick, because I don't want you to give up. It's only if you want to apply to a student loan through Climb Credit, but you can just pay if you can afford that. You can pay $370 a month for like 4 months and join our program. So the bankruptcy limitation is just for the student loan if you were to want that route. Okay. All right. And so right on time, Zandra, this is on you now to walk us through the curriculum. Go for it.
Thank you so much. So what you're all here for is to learn not only about Nucamp, the organization, but what you're going to learn. You're going to learn what you're going to learn. So JavaScript, Vitamin J, you're going to get a lot of that at Nucamp, and it's pretty much the top language. They are kind of always ranking them, and overall, Python and JavaScript are pretty popular. But for web development, JavaScript is the king. You have to learn it. You're going to run into it at some point, even if you start, with other languages. The average salary across the nation that you might be able to get, depending on your area, is roughly 70K. So it's a really good motivation to those of you who are looking for salary positions with employers. I know some of you in the chat might be interested in entrepreneurship, building your own apps as well. So just to keep that in mind. And then we also have a great blog article on nucamp.co about getting job after bootcamp, the career aspect of things. There's a lot of good blog articles there, actually. So check that out. Maybe if you open another tab right now, you could check that out. Yeah, thank you very much, Ludo. And the curriculum. So as Ludo kind of touched on before, and I think there was a question about that from motivational so-and-so, the fundamentals course is separate. It's 4 weeks. It takes you through HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Probably a lot of you on this live call now already have done HTML, or maybe you're scared of JavaScript, you're kind of just touching on it right now, and you'd like somebody to guide you through it. That is the course for you, for the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I use the house analogy, but today I think I'll go with the body analogy. So it's like, if you have a person, the hair, the skin, the clothes, the glasses, that's like maybe the CSS. And the HTML is kind of like the skeleton and everything. And the JavaScript is like the neurons and the electrical, the energy of the being. So you can kind of look at it that way if you're totally new. All right. Once you get that under your belt, you'll be ready to sign up for either full stack or front end. They're both very similar. I'll explain the difference in a bit. You'll start with Bootstrap, which is a CSS framework. So we mentioned about the skin and clothes and hair and everything like that. You'll be making your website look awesome, pretty. Even if you're not a designer, Bootstrap will really help you out a lot, making your site look better. And then it also helps to create a different page than you'll create in fundamentals. You'll have a responsive page. So you'll have media queries and all that good stuff. And that'll make your web page change size depending on which device you're viewing it on. It'll stretch or contract. Then you'll go on to React. And React is a bad mamma jamma. So you'll really dig in deep there and learn how to create a dynamic page. So you not only have a responsive page, but you'll have you can create larger websites that will be able to do more powerful features and functions. And the website will actually change based on what the user selects. So it's going to be something dynamic. I also go deeper into JavaScript in Bootstrap and React as well. Then you'll go on to React Native. You will learn how to change that site that you made in React into a mobile app, and you'll be able to create an app that could be launched on one of the app stores, because React Native is a framework that helps you develop apps for mobile, and it kind of provides a layer between the mobile device's features like camera and touch and all kinds of physical features, speakers and all that, with the actual app. So it's not Java or Swift, but you can use React Native to do that. And that will be the end. If you're in the front end class, you will graduate, you'll get your certificate, and you'll be complete on your Nucamp front end journey anyway. If you are in the full stack course, you'll go on to one more course, which is the Node.js course. So that is a bit of back-end knowledge for you. You'll get the fundamentals of using MongoDB, a database, NoSQL database that'll kind of store all the information for your app. You'll be able to pull in from APIs, or you'll be able to set up the logic of your application, and you'll be able to set up your server. You'll be able to go a little bit into authentication with, I believe it's OAuth, but you'll be able to have protected
that's correct.
sessions. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
OAuth.
Yeah.
JSON token.
Thank you. Yeah, you'll be able to have those lovely JSON web tokens and secure your user sessions. So that's pretty much it. And then some of this, don't worry if any of that was gobbledygook, because once you go through it, you're gonna understand. You go back and look at this YouTube and say, oh, now I know what she's talking about. You'll be able to see here some projects that students made using these technologies. Ludo's gonna select one. You can also see these at the link that's on here on this slide.
Yeah, so if you're wondering, what am I going to build exactly? And as you know, having a project portfolio and really building stuff is super important for you to get a job afterwards. And so we've always had a YouTube channel, but then recently we've kind of brought those YouTube projects inside our main website. And so you can actually pick a few of those. Some are pure React, some are React Native projects. There's really a very varied type of application that our students have built. This one from Nasir is pretty interesting.
Hi, my name is Abdul Nasir Abdurrahman.
Nasir actually built that app using the Washington State data.
I set out to build here is their personal.
And that was the point, was actually to be able to help you find a location in Washington State where they will still have COVID vaccines available. And I believe he's actually been reached by the New Jersey state to see if he could actually do something like that for New Jersey. So it's pretty exciting to see how he was able to do that, putting data from the web, what's available in JSON format and stuff like that. So that was quite exciting. I mean, I'll let you just, that one is, people say, do I need to be good at math? Well, you don't. I think that one student was probably a little bit better than me at math, but he kind of built what is called the shortest distance from 2 points. And that's a React project.
You can draw either mazes or just kind of different.
So he's building a maze here. Drawing the walls. I hope you hear that.
The maze to have to try and search through that, so that way it has to find the shortest path while avoiding the blocks in the road.
There you go. So now the algorithm is trying to detect the walls, what's the right path, and then
see, it looks simple, and then it went.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There you go. So that's another one. But as I said, I mean, you could spend a lot of hours just watching those projects, and registering to the Full Stack Bootcamp actually will really allow you to kind of unleash your creativity, I will say, and build a similar project as well. All right, back to you, Zandra.
Nice. Thanks very much, Ludo. So at this point, if not already, you probably are wondering about registration and our next early bird deadline for the fundamentals class, if you're new to JavaScript or if you just like a refresher, is going to be Monday, July 19th. So don't miss that early bird discount price. If you do miss it, you still have a great price in $3.99, but you could make it a little bit sweeter. And you just go on nucamp.co and select your cohort, region, or city. Alrighty, and we have some scholarships too for you. So perhaps BXXZ3. Oh no, wait, that was not BXX. That was another person. BB Junk stuff. You mentioned about the financial side of things. So you might want to register and then apply for one of these scholarships. We have one for recent high school grads. We've got the New You Scholarship for anyone who's been denied for an educational loan recently. And we have Warrior Rising for active duty and military veterans. And we have Reskill America for anyone who's been adversely affected by COVID-19. So you can take a look at these, click on each one, learn more button, and see if you qualify for any of these scholarships. Yeah, that was nucamp.co/scholarships. Some questions in the chat already about employment numbers and graduation rates. These are the latest numbers from our website, and 83%.
Well, actually, they're from May. I'm just realizing that. These are the numbers that we had
a little
on
bit
May
higher
22nd.
actually now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe let me just cover that real quick, Zandra, if you don't mind. So we
Sure,
calculate our employment numbers daily. Actually, let me pull our website. So if you go to our website, you go to career services here. So we had 83% rate, I think, on May 22nd. As of yesterday, we are getting 86% of graduates that are working in tech. We are sending surveys every 3 months to our graduates. And so right now, you see we have this percentage is based on 668 survey answers. And we ask 2 questions. Are you employed? And are you applying your coding skills? Yes to those 2 questions kind of really accounts for the 86%. And then I think there was a question about graduation rate. Again, this is also calculated every day, although it doesn't change every day because our cohorts are every 5 weeks. But it is the most recent graduation rate here, 74%. And then you can actually go back. So this is really up-to-date month of July. This is what we had for the month of June. We ended month of June at 88% and 74. We ended the month of May at 81% and 75. And we started the month of April with 79% and 75. So as you can tell, we started with 543 surveys here, 239 students who graduated, and those numbers have changed over the month. So we're really trying to be as transparent as possible, giving you all the raw data in a way, in terms of how we calculate things. And so that's the public number that you can see. And as I said, it's based on us asking our graduates every day, every 3 months, and just collecting their answers. So that's where it is. I didn't talk about the career services real quick, but we offer 6 different career services, including one-on-one career support that triggers the first time you actually answer a graduate survey. We actually pull job opportunities from, actually we ping employers on the web, LinkedIn, asking if they want to hire Nucamp students. And whoever says, yes, I want to hire a Nucamp student, I have a job for them, we post that for our graduates. And so these are very highly qualified, I will say, job opportunities there. And then others that are available to you as you graduate. We publish a new graduate stories every week. let me also show you where it is on our web. So if you go again to job outcomes, you go to graduate stories. The most recent one is from Brent, who was a COBOL developer and now a software engineer at T-Mobile. And then the week before we talked about, we covered Attila, Story, Sean, Seth, Taylor, Sophie, Laurie, Stephanie. Laurie's story is super inspiring. If you just want to read one, just read Laurie's. Very, very inspiring story. But everyone really had a tremendous experience after the bootcamp and really happy ending, as we say, finding a job. And so, yeah, every week we pull into those that graduate survey and kind of write up a story about how they actually went about it.
Sweet.
All right, this is actually time, Zendra, for our Q&A. I will start with, let me change the setup here. Let's stop. There we go. Poof. It's just you and me now, like full screen. Let me see. How do I look? Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. So very first question.
At 6:30 in the morning. Not too bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Zendra. I agree. What I really like is every time we do this together, Zendra, the sun is rising behind you as we speak, and it's pretty cool. So is the full stack course for August 16th full? Answer is no, probably not. So you can register in your city or in an online region and you'll have a seat, hopefully. And will the web fundamentals be incorporated inside of that course? And the answer is no. These are really two separate bootcamps. You will want to register to both, especially if you're a beginner. You'll start with web development fundamentals, 4 weeks, and then move on to attend the full stack bootcamp. All right.
Good. And we have some, how do we find local workshops, I think, from Cody at 09-minute mark.
Yes. There we go.
So
well, it's kind of the same. So it's a different question, but I think the same question in a way. Have you resumed in-person workshops on Saturday? Or are they still online? They are still online only. And so that answered the other question. You can't really find our in-person workshops at this time. We were in person in 35 cities before COVID. We have yet to go back to in-person. The reason is the situation is very fluid. It's a county by county decision, believe it or not. So it's not even at the state level, it's at the county level. And the challenge very often is the restrictions and the conditions of any school having to reopen. In the state of Washington, for example, we will have two choices. We will either need to mandate that every student are vaccinated, including the instructor, which sometimes could be an issue. And then we will have to figure out a way to enforce that, right? Which is pretty tough. Or we will have to make sure that we have protocols whenever someone is found to be infected with COVID, which pretty much means we will have to shut down again. So that's a ton of constraint on us to offer a 4-hour workshop on Saturday mornings. And I know a lot of coding bootcamps are struggling with that as well. In any case, we'll have to kind of, survey our students, take it on their word that they are or not vaccinated. And it is kind of a bizarre situation, I will say. So we're just waiting for everything to kind of remain a bit more stable before reopening in person. And right now we're thinking hopefully January will be it, but we'll see.
All right. So quick one for Mohammed. Please let me know the next step. Hey, go to register at nucamp.co.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right.
Let's see. That's a question.
Let me see this one at 9:10. GCP. I saw backend is a pilot program with returning students. Yes, that's the August 9th delivery. The one that we have in September is for everyone, returning or not. Is this good for beginners? Yes. So that bootcamp, the Python bootcamp, starting with Python fundamentals, data structures, and algorithms, is really designed with beginners in mind. Or at least it's beginners friendly, meaning the very first few weeks you won't be lost. but then we're gonna, of course, get into gear and throw pretty advanced stuff at you, like any decent coding bootcamp would. So be prepared for that, of course. All right, what do you see, Zandra?
I was just seeing, let's see, something about hardware specs, but you can go to our FAQ for that FAQ page. That's Aaron. And Eric at 612. I'm sorry, 912.
Yeah.
If you want a couple of days off.
Oh.
That could happen. We're very flexible in our schedule, and you'll be studying during the week on your own schedule. So definitely take out your own calendar app, whatever you use for calendaring, put those days in, and you might have to add, those study hours back in other days. So it could be tough. It's best to code every day if you can, even just 1 hour, even 30 minutes if you really crunch for time. But worst case scenario, you have to make up those hours on another day. And then if it's a Saturday, you'll definitely have to talk with your instructor in advance. You don't really want to miss those Saturdays.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday is really the only time in the bootcamp where we have a scheduled set of hours with being live with your instructor. So you want to avoid missing those as much as possible.
And I should say you do have a week off between each section of the bootcamp.
That's right. And some students actually weren't familiar with that. And so that was really a great surprise when they saw that they had a break. So yeah, great to mention that. I'm going to go back in time a little bit, Zandra. I think TX Hola had a question regarding the backend with Python. Does this course stand alone as job desirables? My understanding is, your question is, can we find a job after the Python bootcamp? The answer is yes. Let me actually then just go back to this as well. Let me share my screen again. If you do backend Python jobs, it says near me. If you do Indeed, it's going to tell you like 3,000 jobs near me, Python backend developer. There's a ton of opportunities and jobs available here. And so if you actually type that question, like you'll see how many are available near you as well. So it is definitely something that will be preparing you for those.
Okay, maybe another question.
Yeah, from Eric as well. There we go.
Right. So best for finding work. There's two approaches. Some people just want to learn coding, get in there and start and not really think about the job search until they're close to graduation. And then they just fire off a whole bunch of applications and then they start looking. But you could, if you have the breathing room, the mental capacity to think about your job search first, and maybe even before you select a bootcamp. So if you're looking at the Nucamp syllabus, the course description, then you take those technologies and look at a job search in your local area, plug it into Indeed or LinkedIn, see if there's anyone hiring for those technologies in your area. Then you want to go with Nucamp. And then look at those companies more closely, and those are going to be the targets that you want to focus on. You also could go with your existing domain knowledge. Like if you're a teacher, you want to apply for some edutech companies later or something like that. So yeah, definitely look and see what's available in your area. And then if it's more front end heavy, choose a front end course. If it seems like there's more looking for cloud or kind of those kind of technologies, Python based, choose the backend bootcamp.
Yeah, that's great recommendation. I'll tackle a few small questions, I think, or short questions or short answers. Is there a deadline for registering for a course? The answer is no. The deadline is to register at least the day before the course starts or the bootcamp starts. But if you do that, you're going to miss the early bird. So the recommendation is register 2 weeks before. This way, you'll know you'll have kind of an automatic discount by getting the early bird pricing. Do you need to know HTML for the Python bootcamp? The answer is no as well. You don't have to, but we recommend that you start with the 4 weeks because it's a great way actually for you to check things out.
Yeah. Good question.
All right, this one is interesting. BB Junk Stuff. Do we highly stress or express that Google and YouTube will be my best friends? Because WozU says that. We don't highly stress it, but there's a lot of truth in it that as a developer, you'll be on Google very often. YouTube, I think very much for beginners. I think you'll really watch a lot of videos as a beginner to kind of learn new things. A little bit less as a senior developer, but you'll spend a ton of time on Google. So we don't highly stress it, but it's a truth. So yeah.
Yeah. There's even a word called Google Fu, like Kung Fu.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's not just us saying that.
Quick question from Mawaki. How can I become an instructor? Look for job opportunities on Indeed or LinkedIn. They should be posted there for your city, actually. And so apply to those, and hopefully we'll schedule an appointment and talk to you.
Cool. So
And then I see, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Is there in-person in Philly? So Philly, like everywhere else right now in the US, we are online, and so you can register on the online regions for that.
Okay. See one at 18 minutes.
Yeah.
TX Holla.
I see it. Go for it.
So the kind of job titles that are associated with front end or back end. So DevOps engineer or something like that for back end. Anything, sometimes even Python is in the job title. There are database, sometimes it's database engineer or SQL. Let's see, Ludo, help me out. What's some back-end job titles?
Back-end, I mean, back-end
engineer, right?
Back-end Java, SQL. Yeah, I mean, you name it. You named it.
And then front-end is more front-end engineer, full-stack developer, front-end developer. Sometimes as junior developer, I notice that a lot of students make the mistake of searching for only junior developer when they're looking for jobs. That is a big mistake. You're really narrowing things down. So yeah, good. We have more of that in the blog post that Ludo mentioned earlier on our blog at nucamp.co.
All right. So this one, what methods of payments do you guys accept? I think the T has been swallowed. Credit cards, major credit cards is kind of the way. Otherwise, you can also apply to the Climb Credit Fair Student Agreement. And I think they offer you, direct withdrawal from your bank account, but that's typically it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Oh, yep, we kind of touched on some of these already.
How about motivational wisdom at 19 minutes? Because that one touches on something we haven't covered yet. So how comfortable should I be if I want to jump into full stack? Well, there's actually a clear answer to that one. Follow this link, url.nucamp.co/testyourself, and you need to get 85%. Yes, 85% correct answers on this test to feel comfortable with starting with full stack. So again, url.nucamp.co/testyourself, hit 85% correct answers, and you'll be comfortable starting directly with full stack. And if you don't, well, you know that you have to start with the 4 weeks bootcamp then.
Ludo, I think you should change that URL to test yourself.
Test yourself.
Test yourself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, why not? We'll have both. We'll have both.
Okay. So let's see. Do you want to go with Daniela Vera? Wow, got a lot of good questions here.
Yeah. Okay.
We do. We have some employers. We reach out to hundreds and hundreds of employers, let them know how awesome Nucamp students and graduates are. And they also are increasingly reaching out to Nucamp, seeking us out, contacting us for recruitment opportunities. So yes, those opportunities are posted in our jobs board, including apprenticeships. Sometimes we have a exclusive Nucamp jobs board inside of our community chat, so you'll have access to that as a graduate.
Yeah, and we're working also with Accenture. It's we haven't done any announcements around that, but we're kind of encouraging our students or graduates to apply to their apprenticeship. So it's where we have a few of those.
No part of that question I didn't touch on. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. I just did.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that one is interesting. Watch me code. Let me actually touch on that one. So you are during the week learning by seeing and learning by doing. So the way it works is we're going to show you a piece of code and what to do and how to do it. And you're going to do it yourself. And it is indeed the learning aspects that's the easiest on your brain, because you have to critically think about what you're doing, but you have pretty much the instructions on how to replicate what you've seen. The Saturday workshop session is where we challenge you a little bit more. That's really where we're going to ask you to look back at what you've learned during the week, which was quote unquote easy, not too easy, but at least you had, a follow along type of thing. Saturday morning, we're going to tell you, hey, remember what you did the last 3 days? Do something now that kind of looks like it, but not too much. So we're going to kind of twist it. And that's really when you're going to have to really think critically, where we're not going to give you the code. You're going to be inspired by what you've done before, but you're going to have to apply it on your own or with your group. And so I think, Daniela, it's a very good question. And so the answer is a mix of both. We want you to kind of train your brain by showing you stuff and having you kind of repeat it during the week. And then on Saturday, that's when you're going to really be challenged, a level above, by having to kind of internalize all that and apply that to something that actually is slightly different.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Okay.
Yes, fundamentals is a good refresher if you need it.
Yeah. Here's a question from Cameron. During the React portion, is there any focus on Redux? Yes, there is. We're also working on more and more hooks. So there's a kind of shift. And actually, we're going to bring Redux and hooks together. There's something called Redux hooks, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the path we're taking, is we're not kind of throwing Redux away, but we're actually really implementing the latest Redux and hooks together. And that's going to be part of our future update to our curriculum. All right. Hey, thank you, BXX3CH3CHV, for helping answer some of those questions. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. About 25-minute mark from Jermaine Jones.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll take that one there. Jermaine, yeah. You are good to go. You have our blessing to join up. If this is not the first time in your life that you've ever done anything technical, if you're not just like, oh, okay, I want to try to make more money and I've never had any interest in computers before or anything, but let me just see, you might have a struggle there. Getting a job in the industry, that it kind of is related to that, your not your love or your passion, because I hate to use the word passion, but if you find that you have an aptitude for this and a desire and an enjoyment of it, that's going to come through in your interviews, that's going to come through in your portfolio, and that is going to turn into a better chance to get a job. And it is not just a meritocracy. You're right to have some trepidation there, unfortunately. Like a lot of other industries, there is the age discrimination, but we also help you with the job search, the career coaching. You can actually ask these specific questions of your career coach after graduation, and you can also really focus on your LinkedIn and your networking efforts, because you don't know who you know. So looking around and looking to see who you know and doing cold emails and warm emails, that's really going to help you circumvent that age barrier. And we can talk more about that if you schedule a call with us.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Zendra. That's so true. All right. A quick question from Lilo Ramos. If I want to combine and customize different courses, do you guys provide discounts on that? So I think, Lilo, you want to just, pick and choose which course you want to and create your own curriculum in Bootcamp. We don't really offer that at this time. Like our bootcamps are kind of what they are right now. And so you just register for one or the other and the other. We see a lot of people actually registering for all three, like web development fundamentals, full stack, backend, which is awesome. There's no discount at this time for registering for everything, but you are more than welcome to do that. Okay. All right. Oh, all right.
Let's see.
Is Reskill America still available? Yes, it is. Check out our website and Career Karma's website for details. Will there be an open house on the Python course? So, yeah, we've been kind of, holding that back because the very first really open session is in September. And so, purposefully, you recognize that we've been talking about the full stack and JavaScript bootcamps a lot because of that. I mean, the August delivery is very much kind of still a private beta. Not everyone is going to get in. But yes, you can expect us to dive way more into Python actually next month in preparation for the September start. So yeah, great question, LD. That's going to be next month.
Awesome, okay. Jermaine, that's great. Woo!
I don't know for what, but yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
I like that. Thank you very much for the enthusiasm. Let's see.
I like that as well from LD. You're one of the few that is so transparent. Thank you.
Yeah, I really like, Ludo, how everything is at the website. I like how you've done that from the beginning. There's no hidden things. Call us to find out, and we'll tell you maybe. It's all out there.
Yeah. I know some people are sharing their thoughts online as well, saying, hey, sometimes I get a call from a salesperson from a bootcamp that I need to register like now, today. We don't want to do that. We don't have to do that. We're not going after $15,000 or $30,000. We're going after a very modest tuition. And so, I mean, Zendra here is on the phone, and yeah, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but yeah, the word is not, you're not salespeople, you're helpers, you're advisors to help people make the right choice.
Yeah, because a lot of people are researching boot camps because it's a big decision. So that's what I try to help out with, help you to reach the decision that's right for you.
There's a ton of questions on, are we still back online? Are we still online or back in person? Yeah, it's tough. We did a survey recently asking how many of you actually would like to go back in person. And the answer is 30%. So there's still 70% of potential students or existing students who are like, now that I've tasted online, I'm actually quite fine with it. But it's true that I do believe personally in the power of people coming together as students, coming together with their instructor, and learning in person. It's very, very powerful. And even though we've done really a lot to kind of replicate that online, it's still different. I mean, no question, it's still different. So yeah, we hope to get back to in person when it's feasible for us, without taking risks, without and endangering also how we operate and the cost structure as well. I mean, the worst that could happen for us is we're back in person, someone gets sick, then we have to shut down. It's kind of not manageable. Quick question from Kevin. Can a Chromebook be used in the program? The answer is probably no. You probably want to find something else, a Mac or PC.
Yeah, that's true. What timestamp are you at now, Ludo? I kind of get lost.
Geez, I'm behind. I'm so behind. 32. we need to. Oh my God, only 5 minutes. Okay, how about we kind of trying to find things that we haven't really covered yet?
Let's see. 43. We did cover that. Scott Johnson. Let's see.
Oh, there you go. Okay, this one, 34. What happens if you fail a class? Can you retake it? Do you have to pay again? You can retake it. You'll have to pay $39 for the first time, and then $79 afterwards, if you still need to take it again. So yes, we do offer you that.
Good job.
Yes, you're going to work on group projects, but it's not mandatory. You can work on your own as well. Working on your own project is not optional. I see that now on the web, and people believe that it's optional. It is absolutely not optional. Students are expected to work on their own projects. We have instructions for that. We structure it. It's actually in their commitment pledge. Like, they kind of are not really signing it, but we tell them you have to work on it. It is not optional. That drives me crazy when I hear that.
Yeah. So let's see. How about Al Suarez? He wants to know, preparing 35-minute mark.
Yeah.
You can look on YouTube and just look at some basic stuff. If you're ready to sign up for a full stack, just type in Bootstrap, because that's going to be the first part of the course, or look at the Bootstrap documentation. Let's see.
Okay. Let's see this one from Lilo. The main difference between front-end and full stack, it is going to be that 4 weeks backend Node.js, Express, MongoDB course. That's the main difference between the two. And you can combine web dev and full stack in terms of payment by going through Climb Credit and the student loan.
Awesome.
Okay.
So how about 40 minutes from JCP?
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Scholarship. So we have to apply your scholarship to an existing registration. So you're going to want to register first. We can't just allocate scholarship funds to anybody who asks. You have to show us that you're going to register as a student first, and then we can, if you qualify, award the scholarship.
Yeah. OS Ubuntu, that meets all the other specs. So the answer is yes. We actually have a enthusiastic group on our Slack for Linux distro users. So yeah, you can join our bootcamp with using Linux. Okay.
Kind of answered some of these, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Motivational wisdom needs the URL for test yourself. So let me actually paste that URL again.
Test yourself.
Test yourself. So https://url.nucamp.co/test yourself. By the way, this web stream is recorded automatically by YouTube. So when we're done, just go back to the video, and that'll still show it in that recording. All right.
I know they're going to watch it again because you love us. Let's see. I think we're almost caught up. Oh, background in healthcare from Jeffrey at the 50-minute mark.
Yeah, I see it. Go for it.
Awesome. So the transfer this bootcamp, but unsure where you would fit. So if you're worried about your technical prowess, you can start with the fundamentals course. If you're more, your question is more about the career side of things and wondering how you could fit into the industry, you can focus your job search on health tech, or you can apply for hospitals. Hospitals have websites and apps. Health insurance companies, even the therapy apps. There's a lot of telehealth apps now. Or like mental, Headspace or Calm. mental calmness apps or something like that. So you can apply it a lot of entities after you graduate. Yeah, I think that's
Cool.
about
All right. I see a ton of questions with everyone here. That's pretty great to see the level of interaction. Well, maybe this one has a departing thoughts. I don't have coding experience. I'm currently a special education teacher in DC. Is this program for someone like me? We've actually, I think we've written a story about someone who was also a teacher and switched over. So if you go to our website, the graduate stories, go through those stories, and I think one will speak directly to you in terms of having or being a teacher before becoming a web developer. So check that out.
Yeah, and try the fundamentals class. Oh, lovely.
What just happened?
Motorcycle.
Oh.
Try the fundamentals class. It's a
Yeah.
motorcyclist going by, and see if you like it. Dip your toe in there, Johnny Chim.
That's right. All right. Hey, it's 10 a.m. here in Bellevue, Washington. 7 a.m. I'm sure for you. Zandra, thank you again for joining. Thank you, everyone. As I said, this web stream is going to be available after the fact on YouTube, but we're also going to have one again next week where we'll talk about full stack. And then next month, we're going to have another one, and we'll actually dive deeper into Python then. So hope to see you soon online. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.